Welcome to Storytime at the Rubus, a weekly podcast about the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival, and I guess other things this week.
Yeah, not really so much Bonnaroo this week.
I'm your host, Sharla.
And I'm Daniel. Where the heck are we at?
We are on an island called Ilha Grande. It is off the southern coast of Brazil.
Yeah. My iPhone app that we're using to record this says Julia Beach. That's a new one on me. I didn't know that one.
Yeah, it always gives us a different location.
I think there's like 18 different names for this place that we're at.
But mainly Ilha Grande.
Ilha Grande.
If you look it up.
What was the name of this little town that we've been up and in? I can't remember now.
Ilha Grande.
That's the name of the whole island.
Oh, well, I'm not sure.
There's a name, but like Abreu.
Yeah.
Abreu is the name of the small town that we're at. There are no streets, only walking streets. Well, there's streets. You just can't drive on them. You got to walk on them.
Yeah, there's no cars.
Yeah, it's very small. There's like maybe 3 or 4 little markets, a lot of bars, a lot of hostels. I think there's a total of, Brooklyn told us, I think under 1,000 people that live here full time. Took a boat out here. We're staying at kind of like a party hostel. If you haven't stayed at a hostel like this, totally recommend it. It's like staying at a little Bonnaroo group campground in many ways.
It's International Bonnaroo.
Yeah, basically.
That's why we always stay in hostels.
We met a lot of friends from Israel, France, here in Brazil. Where else? There was someone somewhere else.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Well, yeah, it's been all over the place, and it's been a wild couple of nights. We're doing this a little differently, so we're not talking about Bonnaroo as much this week, like I said, because this is a bonus episode. We just wanted to record something on our travel. But a big reason that we wanted to record this is not only to stay in touch, but also kind of encourage everybody to get out and help you go on something like this, because it's not expensive to do this.
Planes leave every single day, and you can do it too.
We've been joking around that we know of people and family that take trips on a cruise or just go down to a beach like Gulf Shores in Alabama, or, someplace in Florida, and spend 3-4 times as much as we have on this trip.
A lot of people will give us crap for traveling internationally so much because they assume we're spending
mostly family
$5,000, $6,000, $8,000 to
nowhere
do this.
near that.
Nowhere near that at all. I mean, you can get a flight for.
Well, that's the main thing.
The flight is going to be your most expensive, but then you stay in a hostel for what, $30 a night?
Yeah, basically.
You're golden.
Some countries are cheaper than others. So Brazil is roughly about the same price as American stuff, sometimes a little bit cheaper. A hostel is never expensive at any place, really, unless you're just going to some bougie city like New York or New Orleans or something,
Right.
I know those are things in those towns now. The most expensive thing that you're going to get for a trip like this is your flight. But I shop around a lot, so I use flights.google.com. I have like 3 or 4 destinations in mind. I'm always just kind of goofing around and seeing what the current prices are. And depending on the time of year or the current economics of the country or the airline or whatever, you can get a really good price on flights. So I'll give you an example. I'll be transparent. To come down here we flew into Rio. We went from Huntsville, Alabama, our town. We had some stupid layovers. We went from Huntsville to Charlotte to JFK in New York and then Rio. So because we were willing to take those layovers and spend a little time on that, I got a very good price. For the round trip, it was about $700 per person. There and back. Here and back, wherever. We're here in Brazil, whatever. And then once we got here, now I'll find places like the hostel that's just like the equivalent of $30 a night. It's not that much. I would dare say that a lot of people that are spending money on GA Plus tickets for Bonnaroo or other festivals may be spending more for that than we are for this trip.
It's all about priorities,
Yeah.
Now, Daniel and Brooklyn planned this trip more or less. When we went to Thailand, I planned that one more or less.
Yeah.
And what you can really do, what I find most effective, is to get on Facebook and to get into these backpacking Facebook groups. And that's where I found the best recommendations. And I've really just got into these backpacking groups and said, I'm going to this country, I'm going to X country. I'm looking to do X activities. I'm looking to stay at, this type of hostel, and really get these type of recommendations. And that's how I found our hostel in Thailand. And it was absolutely perfect for us. And, we still have friends there that we keep in contact with till this day.
Oh, yeah. We went there in like 2018.
And I found it through those connections that I made prior to our trip in those backpacking groups, networking around and finding that.
Some of you may remember we had a friend that came with us to Bonnaroo in 19, before the pandemic happened. Her name was Ashu. She was from Seoul, Korea. And we met her on that trip when we were staying at backpackers hostels in Thailand. We had a mimosa one morning. I got a little silly. I was like, hey, if you buy a ticket, a plane ticket to come to the States. I'll buy you a ticket to Bonnaroo. So she did, and then I did. And she had the time of her life. She wanted to come back, but she's had 2 kids since then. So might be a little while. I don't know. We're trying to talk a friend from the UK into coming this year. She hasn't really decided yet, but it's funny because she's from Manchester in the UK, and she realized that, like, oh, Bonnaroo is in a town called Manchester. So I haven't heard back from her yet. I know she wanted to see the lineup, so hopefully she likes this one.
Yeah.
Something I'm finding, we met a friend, his name is Jose. He's from here in Brazil, and his English is pretty good, so we've been hanging out a lot. He's going to the Brazilian Lollapalooza here in about a month. And he's a guy I met, we were just chilling the other night, and I was just like, oh, hey, man, what's some of your favorite bands? And he's like, I like this band called Tame Impala. And I'm like, my man, we have much to discuss. I made him a whole playlist of, like, other bands that I knew he would like.
It's like the Spider-Man meme.
The Spider-Man meme? Yeah, I asked him, I was like, well, have you heard of Pond or King Gizzard or some of these other bands? He's like, no. And I'm like, I'm making you a playlist. I gave it to him yesterday. I haven't heard back from him about that. That's funny. But he showed me the lineup for the Lollapalooza, the Brazil Lollapalooza. And of course, I knew a lot of the headliners because they have like Blink 182 the same day that he's going. But the bottom couple of lines, I didn't know really much of those names because they were international names. It's funny, we don't get a lot of international artists at ours. And I know it's tricky because, like, many of them probably can't travel as easily, as like somebody like Tame Impala or Blink 182 can, But I wish we got more like that. It's cool that Coachella is getting Bad Bunny, for example. Now, he's got the money and the, staffing or whatever to make that happen. But I really wish that our lineups in America weren't as... what's the word I'm looking for? Just, American, really.
Yeah.
I wish we had more international artists.
Yeah, more global.
There's a lot of artists that I'm finding that are big here in Brazil that I haven't heard of. I would dare say most Americans haven't heard of, know? I wish we had more of that.
Bad Bunny is cool, but he's very surface level.
What do you mean?
There's so much more to discover than just Bad Bunny.
Well, yeah, he's just a name that most people would know as an international artist,
Yeah.
That goes a long way to make you international when literally none of your music is in English, for example, But yeah, that was one thing that I learned on this trip. It's been really cool. So I think we're going to record some more later. Brooklyn is taking kind of sort of a nap on her bunk bed over there in her hostel right now. Tonight is our last night here on this island. There's a DJ party happening tonight. That's going to be fun. We're going to be up late, so I'm kind of chilling most of the day, not doing anything too crazy. No hikes. Yeah, yesterday we went on a hike to a beach. That was fun.
Yesterday we went to Lopez
Mendez. Yes, yeah. That was really cool.
And we had to take a boat from this island to another island, and then hike 30 minutes.
I love those moments when you realize how far away from home you are. Like, for us to get back home, we would have had to take a hike, take a boat, take a walk, take another boat, take a 2-hour bus ride, then take a plane back to the States.
3 planes, yeah.
I love that, though. I want to be as far away from any stress at home as possible.
Yes.
So I thought I was going to cut to the next clip, but there is one last thing I did want to talk about before we get Brooklyn on later. I want to circle back around on how cheap it is for this and why I encourage everyone to go on these trips. So I get the stats on our podcast. I've got some good things that tell me who's listening. So I know that a pretty big chunk of our listeners are college-aged or like in their early, mid, late 20s, something like that. I cannot encourage you guys enough. Get out of the country. Go get other experiences. Go to a place where you do feel culturally lost, because we get stuck inside our own heads in America. Like, there's a lot of different ways of experiencing things and doing things in other cultures that aren't so Western. Like, London, the UK is fun, but it's still Western. You're not going to see that much of different culture, It's just going to be, they're just going to call it, the names for chips and cookies are different or whatever. That's about it. And use pounds instead of dollars. Other than that, it's not a lot different. But if you go to South Asia or South America or whatever, you're going to experience how things are different. And it'll kind of expand your head in a way to make you feel more included in the world, more open-minded. Understand that the way that we do things in the West and North America is not really the same way that the rest of the world does. Kind of helps in a lot of ways. Some of you I know are, love Grizz. He's playing this year. I've been seeing on his Instagram and his Twitter that he took a trip around Thailand and some other places in the past month before he gets ready for festival season. Go check out his pictures and what he had to say. He was kind of talking about the same thing, like really get yourself in a good place to get out of your comfort zone and out of your bubble. I can't recommend it enough. And like Sharla was talking about, it's cheaper than you think. You're going to spend far less on a trip like that than some of your friends are on like cruises or like a week and a half long trip at some beach in Florida, you know?
Yes. And Cancun doesn't count. I'm sorry.
Cancun doesn't count.
No offense. I mean, I've been there, done that, but I don't think that counts.
Yeah. So look into it. And if you need any help or support, like me and Sharla know a lot of websites and stuff.
Absolutely.
Help you with prices and recommendations and stuff.
One good website just to find hotels or hostels, Hopper. It's an app.
Oh, yeah.
Hopper. Download that.
And I also recommend Hostel World. It's a little bit different than something like Travelocity or Orbitz. Those I have learned in the past couple of years, you can't really trust the reviews on because a lot of hotels and places will bribe their customers to give them good reviews in return for things. Hostels are not really a thing. First of all, you have to be aware what you're getting into if you get a hostel. It's not going to be a luxury experience.
Right.
It's, like around the same experience as like a college dorm with what you're going to get in terms of your room and the amenities and stuff. But that's okay. It's cheaper. Part of the appeal of going to a hostel is meeting people and stuff.
Right. That's the whole point of it. It literally is like Bonnaroo. It's just like going to Bonnaroo, but on an international level.
Yeah. So look up Hostel World. That's how I found the one we're staying at, actually.
Right. And like I said, get on Facebook. Get in these Facebook backpackers groups. Just look up, like if you want to go to Thailand, for example, Facebook search Thailand backpackers group and just join those groups and just start networking around and be like, I want to go to Bangkok. What's a good hostel?
Yeah.
Looking to party.
Oh, by the way, I'm just going to put it out there. My dream is to get a big group of Ruvians to go on a week or two in Thailand.
That would be amazing.
That would be like my top bucket list thing.
We had started putting that together and then the pandemic.
Yeah, I thought we were making some pretty good traction on making that happen. Then all of a sudden, hey guys, you heard about this virus coming out of wherever? I'm like, and then that put a hamper on it.
Hit, so
yeah, but
maybe one day.
We had originally intended to go to Thailand on this trip, but the prices hadn't quite come back down to where they were. I think they kind of have now, but I was ready to go somewhere different
really
anyways.
Hammered the prices in Thailand.
Yeah, but it's getting better. But anyway, seriously, if you need help or recommendations or support, if you want to plan your own trip, hit me or Sharla up. We'll be more than glad to help you. And hey, I'm just putting it out there. Sometime in the next couple of years, it'd be cool to get a Rue group to go to Thailand. Mm-hmm. Me and Sharla will be your guide. We know where to go. There's a very few places to not go, but let me tell you, I know the places to go. We've been there twice. I know some good places to take you.
Speaking English, most places that you go, like here, no one speaks English.
Very, very few.
Very, very, very few. But you don't have really, 90%, 93% of communication is nonverbal. That's a fact.
Yeah. Body expressions. Like little hand gestures. Yeah.
You're going to be fine. I mean, just look up some very basic general phrases. Thank you. Yeah.
And if I do need to have a deeper conversation with somebody, it's just translate.google.com. Just takes a moment,
Right. You'll be fine.
Yeah. All right, so I think we're going to cut to the future. Brooklyn may join us in a minute, and maybe we'll record some audio from this party we're going to tonight. I don't know. But anyways, we will be back with regular episodes starting next week, and it's a little while to thank our Patreon, so we can't go name by name. But guys, thank you so much. I'll just give it a plug real quick. 80% goes to the Bronnery Works Fund. 20% goes to the party we're putting on. Thank you, Patreons. It's at patreon.com/Rubus. Anything else we need to plug before we go in the future? That's about it. All right. See you guys in a minute.
Bye.
Okay, we're back out here with Brooklyn. She has awoken from a nap. We're kind of chilling. This is our second to last day in Brazil. How have you liked Brazil? What's been your impression?
I love it. It's Rio is very different from the island in ways of...
Well, it's a big city.
Yeah. Well, it's super crowded, lots of people, very cool culture, easygoing. It's a lot different than we were expecting.
Yeah, we had read that Rio was not entirely safe, but after a day there, I'm like, wait, this is fine.
We were also in Copacabana, the main strip.
Yeah.
And everything.
It's pretty cool. You can walk around and not really have to be concerned.
Right.
You don't want to hold out an expensive camera or the newest iPhone in front of everybody.
This is a peak season for Brazil too, because it's it's February. I would say February is definitely probably the best month to come.
Right before Carnival?
Right before Carnival, definitely. There's still some things with Carnival happening, like they're preparing. There's still parades that you could possibly see.
I think we'll see
the
some tomorrow
crowds
night.
is not as bad as it would be if we came like a week before Carnival.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rio. I had always wanted to go to Rio since I was like 12 years old and watch that Rio movie with the birds. The bird, yeah. I had been wanting to go since then, and like flying in, I cried, and you know, nothing ever meets your expectations, especially since you've wanted to visit a place of being like such a young child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it is still just amazing.
I love how you do a lot of research and you think that you know what you're getting into, but then you get here and there's so much that you couldn't have seen coming, right?
Right. And, you know, thank God for Apple Pay.
Oh, man,
I
yeah.
love Apple Pay so much.
Oh, yeah, pro tip. Like, there was a lot of stuff that we had seen in our research that said, like, oh, make sure you get a lot of cash. Not everywhere takes cards or whatever. No, we're out here on an island off the coast and everybody takes Apple Pay.
We kind of had a mini panic because we thought that there was an ATM at our hotel.
There was not.
And there was not. And we were like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Because when you go to Thailand, you have to get cash.
Yeah.
But no, everybody has these little scanner things that take Apple Pay. They take card. I don't like swiping my card just because.
You never know.
But yeah, and I checked. Apple Pay doesn't charge for you to use Apple Pay.
Yeah, you just boop it in front of there.
But our bank does charge like a conversion fee.
It's like a cent or two on the dollar.
Like, yeah.
It's not that much, but
But
Apple doesn't do that conversion fee? I didn't realize that.
No.
Okay. Well, we've been using it most of the time.
Well, I mean, you're still gonna have to do the conversion fee. It just doesn't.
It's barely anything.
Charge anything to use Apple Pay.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because I don't have data, and I was concerned about that. But
I think it saves the transaction. Well, think
It
about
does.
it. Your debit card doesn't have data,
No.
and you're able to use that. So I think what it's doing is I don't know how these things work, but it's saving the transaction data and just doing it whenever you do
it's so
get a signal.
nice just going to a place, not having to scramble around for your wallet and get everything out. Just go.
I know.
But yeah, this not, that's off topic. But okay,
No, it's on
Isla
topic.
Grande
Yeah.
is amazing. It's very similar to Krabi, and
Similar to like those South Asian islands.
yeah, there's
off
lots of
Thailand.
dogs.
This is
Lots
Isle
of
of Dogs.
We have the hostel cat, Ferrugem.
I love him.
He is so amazing, which is the Portuguese word for rust.
I think his name is Rusty. That's how
Rusty.
I think it translates as Rusty.
Yeah, rusty.
Because he's an orange cat.
It's a rusty cat.
Yeah.
He's a sweet cat. But yeah, the boat taxi was super cheap. I thought it was gonna be like a whole deal trying to find a boat to go to the other part of the
that was no
island that
big
we
deal.
wanted to go to. Man, but some places here, like some restaurants here, are super expensive. Like it would be 200 real for a plate,
You have to shop around. I mean,
which
that's
is around $50.
you have to shop around any place that you go because there's
But-
going to be some places that are right near like the tourist crossings that are going to charge way more. But if you go out of the way, you're going to find some that are great and cheap,
Right,
cheaper
right.
and better.
Cheaper and better.
Cheaper and better. That was the
So-
name of a place in Bangkok.
So, for instance, this hostel/bar that's right next to our hostel on this other side of the island.
What's the name of the place?
We've just been calling it the Lizard Lounge.
There's a big picture
it's
of a
like
lizard.
a bar che.
I don't remember.
Che bar or some shit like that. I don't know. But that was the best. The first day that we went, that was the best damn burger I've ever had in my life.
Are we going a third time today?
Possibly.
Or should we try something else?
We should probably try something else. Maybe we could splurge and get a fancy meal.
I want something local. I don't want pizza or whatever.
No, that wasn't pizza. That was like soup.
Oh. All right.
Yeah.
That's something else I recommend too is like it is nice to know that you have a McDonald's or whatever when you go to a foreign city if you just like needs to get something down and not risk it, but you should still totally go to like the locally owned hole in the wall places and try something different that you don't normally have at home.
Also, if you come to Brazil, please try
Oop.
cachaças. It is the liquor that is distilled from sugarcane, and it is so good.
Oh.
It's very similar to vodka, but it's got a more sweet sweeter taste.
You know, something funny. Me and Sharla was talking earlier about like communication when you don't really have a shared language, when there's a language barrier. Alcohol is a shared language all over the world. Me and Brooklyn we stayed up late.
We bought a bottle last night.
Yeah.
And we were doing shots and playing Happy Salmon with some Brazilians, and it was so much fun. Some Brazilian friends we met, Jose and what are the rest of their names?
I don't remember. It was late and we were having shots.
It was fun. Yeah. But yeah, Elo Grande gets a 10 out of 10 for me.
10 out of 10. No notes. I think that might be it for our mini episode. Maybe there'll be a clip of the party that we're going to tonight. I don't know. We might tag that on the end or save it for later.
Tell them you're DJing?
This podcast is not to plug myself. This is to help people travel.
Well, I can say something. You're DJing.
In
Brazil. That's amazing.
I guess so.
That's pretty fucking baller.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Well, yeah, the two DJs that are producing and playing tonight, they were kind enough they're going to have me open for just a little bit. I brought enough to get me by, so that'll be fun. I just like throwing a party for new friends. Yes. It'll be fun, yeah. Anything else about Brazil, Brooke? You having a good time?
Yes. I don't want to leave.
You don't?
But also I miss
We got to go back to work. I miss Ricky. How about you, Sharla? Any last notes on Brazil?
I mean, I could do this full time.
You could do this full time?
Yeah. I think I'm going to quit my job and help people travel.
Wait, one last question. We were talking about this the past 2 days. What if this is all hypothetical. This is not real. This is just like pie in the sky daydreaming. What if there was an international boundary where they like said, hey, we're going to do it on a boat or this other location? I mean, forget Firefest. Would that work? Would you go?
You know, in 2003, they were going to franchise it.
Yeah, there was going to be Bonnaroo Northeast at one time, like 20 years ago. It would be so fun to go to like an American-produced international festival that brought in a lot of international artists. We were talking about that a moment ago before he came out, Brooke. About
Slumber Party.
Yeah, Slumber Party. Oh, by the way, I'm free plug Slumber Party in Thailand. If you go over there, that is the hostel to go to. They are amazing. No, we were so spoiled. Nothing. Me and Sharla did other hostels when we went to New Zealand. We're doing this one. I love this one.
Oh yeah.
But we're so spoiled on Slumber Party. It was like
it was partying every night.
Freaking amazing.
That's the one thing about this hostel versus Slumber Party. I wish this one had tours that you could go on.
Yeah.
That included the tours.
That would
Slumber
be fun.
Party includes.
So you can go with the people you're staying with.
Right.
Yeah.
Includes tours.
That was fun. Yeah. So yeah, when we do this Bonnaroo group trip to Thailand, we're all going to stay there. I'll get us like a couple of big rooms or whatever. I was saying that earlier, Brooklyn. Like, we should get a big Bonnaroo group to do one of these trips to Thailand. We can be their guides. We know where to go. Hey, we're going to do a international Bonnaroo. Maybe we can just do it ourselves unofficially.
I mean, yeah.
Get a bunch of people and like all go to a show together.
Mm-hmm.
Just franchise your own Bonnaroo.
You guys have got my head spinning. I kind of want to put this together for a couple of years now. Not like a festival, but like a trip of all of us that go to Bonnaroo and do some fun stuff like that. Okay, we don't have to figure that out today. Anyway, we wanted to send this out from Brazil. Be back with regular episodes next week. Anything else, Brooke?
Bom dia.
What's that one again?
Good morning.
Is it still morning?
Morning.
It is. Hi, morning. That was funny. Anything else, Sharla? All right. We'll see you guys with regular episodes next week. Get out there in the rest of the world and radiate positivity. Bye.
Bonnaroo abroad.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.